You're not struggling because you're not smart. You're struggling because you think the wrong way. Most people never realize this, and that's exactly why they stay stuck. Everyone thinks intelligence is about knowing more facts, more answers. But that's not what actually changes your life. The real difference is how you think under pressure, how you react when things get hard, how you handle confusion instead of avoiding it. And today, I'll show you 5 simple thinking patterns that separate average minds from powerful ones. Nothing complicated, but once you see them, you won't be able to unsee them. And the first one? It completely changes how people see you. Let's begin. 1. They don't fight to be right. Here's where most people go wrong. When someone disagrees with them, it turns into a battle. They argue. They get frustrated. They try to prove the other person is wrong or even stupid. But smart people, they take a completely different path. They don't attack. They ask. Real questions. Not traps, not questions meant to embarrass. They say things like, "Help me understand why you see it that way," or "What led you to that conclusion?" They're not trying to win. They're trying to understand. And here's the surprising part. The moment you stop arguing and start asking, people begin to listen. They don't feel attacked. They don't shut down. They open up. That's when real conversations begin. That's when perspectives shift. Smart people understand something most miss. You can't force someone to agree with you, but you can guide them to think more deeply about their own ideas. And when they do, they often change their minds on their own. 2. They see the bigger picture. Most people get trapped in small moments. They fail one test and suddenly believe they're not smart. Someone rejects them and they feel worthless. One bad day and it feels like everything is falling apart. But smart people zoom out, like pulling a camera back. They don't see just one failed test. They don't just see the moment. They see the pattern. Maybe they need a different way to study. Maybe they need more sleep. Maybe they need help with math. Rejection? It's not proof they're not good enough. It's information. They ask, "What can I learn from this? What should I try next time?" When you zoom out, problems stop feeling like threats. They become puzzles. And puzzles can be solved. Smart people keep asking, "What's really happening here? What can I actually control? What's my next move?" They don't panic. They think. 3. They only worry about what they can change. This one changes everything. Most people spend their energy worrying about things they can't control. What others think of them, whether it rains tomorrow, if their boss is in a bad mood, what might go wrong next week. All that thinking changes nothing except how they feel. Tired, stressed, drained. Smart people follow a simple rule. If I can't control it, I don't focus on it. Instead, they shift their attention to what they can control. Can't control the weather? Bring an umbrella. Can't control opinions? Be honest, be kind. Can't control the outcome? Control your effort. That shift saves energy, a lot of it, and they use that energy to actually improve things, to solve problems, to move forward. When you stop worrying about everything, you finally start fixing what matters. 4. They use silence as a tool. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. The moment things go quiet, they rush to fill the space. They speak without thinking. They talk just to avoid the pause. But smart people? They're different. They're comfortable in silence. They think before they speak. They listen more than they talk. They let others finish, fully. And here's the interesting part. Silence has power. When you pause before answering, people lean in. They expect something meaningful. When you truly listen, without interrupting, people feel understood. And that changes everything. Quiet people often appear more thoughtful, more aware, even more intelligent. Not because they say more, but because they say less and mean it. Not because they know more, but because they choose their words with care. Try this. Next time someone asks you something, pause. Count to 3 before you answer. You'll notice it instantly. Your responses become clearer, more thoughtful, more precise. 5. They pause instead of reacting. This one might matter the most. Most people react immediately. Someone cuts them off in traffic, they get angry. Someone says something hurtful, they snap back. Things don't go their way, they complain or give up. But smart people, they create space. They pause, even for a second. When something triggers them, they take a breath and ask, is this worth my energy? What's the best way to respond? When someone is rude, they don't attack back. They think, maybe this person is struggling. Maybe it's not about me. Then they choose a response, not a reaction. This isn't weakness, it's control. The person who stays calm while everyone else gets emotional has power. The person who thinks while others react makes better decisions. So what does all of this mean? You don't need to be the loudest voice in the room. You don't need to know everything. You don't need perfect grades or a prestigious education. You just need to think differently. Ask instead of argue. Look for patterns instead of panicking over single moments. Focus on what you can control. Let go of what you can't. Be comfortable with silence. And most importantly, pause before you react. Most people won't do this. They'll keep arguing, keep worrying, keep reacting to everything around them. But if you practice these 5 habits, something shifts. You start seeing solutions where others only see problems. You stay calm when everything around you feels chaotic. You make better choices because you're thinking, not just reacting. People will begin to notice. They'll come to you for advice. They'll wonder how you stay so composed under pressure. And the best part? None of this requires talent. You don't have to be born smart. You don't have to be special. You just have to choose to think this way.